something, and I've got both open.
Hello. Yes, hello. Hello from Amsterdam and London.
Hey there.
I'm here with my dear friend Lidija Rosati, and we are attempting to go live also on Instagram via the phone. So maybe we aim too much. We shall see right now how this goes. And Lidija, you can hear me well?
I hear you perfectly.
Oh, perfect. So she's back, and I'm very, very happy. And we're gonna have a interesting subject because it's time to lose that extra weight we put on during the Corona and other times before Corona, but in a loving and intelligent manner. And I'm gonna explore this with my dear friend and my guest and a friend and colleague, NLP trainer, Lidija Rosati. She's a master coach and an award winner, a winning keynote speaker, and she's the author of the podcast Hustle Gently. Also a wealth mentor to women, and she's much more. So some of you or many of you know her already. So welcome. I'm so happy that you're back.
Yes, I'm very happy that I'm back because we basically started our chats when Corona kind of started.
Exactly.
Days of Corona, and now we are doing it in the last days in Corona. At least I do believe it's the last days in the UK, because as from I think next week we are just going to see the easing of all the measures, so it should be good.
Right. Yes. So, my darling, we have the tradition here that we start with the centering exercise to honor the sacred experience that we'll co-create. So it's going to be a short one, less than a minute. So let's close our eyes and connect to the breath. Just noticing how supportive the breath is for us in this moment. And let's use a mantra that I use many times in the evening, 3 times in your head. It's a Sanskrit mantra, and it means I am the universe. Aham Brahmasmi. So breathe in. Aham Brahmasmi. Breathe in. Aham Brahmasmi. One more time. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the universe. So let's rock and roll. Welcome,
Thank you for
Lidija.
that, Tata. Yes, thank you.
So,
and before we start, also I would like to create a very safe container for all of us, since the topic is a very sensitive one, and for many people, one that has probably over the years created a lot of hardship. So one thing I'd like to start with very much is find ourselves where we are today, hand on the heart, hand on the tummy, and just get back from the head into the body, however we want and however it works for us, either through breathing or just seeing yourself, just find yourself where you are. And welcome yourself, without judging, without too much expectation, without pomp. Breathe in and breathe out, and gently open your eyes, or you may want to keep your eyes closed throughout this chat. Whatever works for you guys, we are all about the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my darling, this is a sensitive topic for many people.
Yeah.
And you had your own journey. We are on a path.
Yes.
Is it okay if I share, or maybe you should share about your
Yes,
journey
I
if you
have.
feel okay?
Yeah. My journey was a very interesting one. I managed to, during that journey, lose 44 kilos, and the journey is beautifully documented in my book. And basically, what has happened is that over the years, I have tried pretty much, I can safely say, every diet under the sun. I have worked with health coaches, weight loss gurus, hypnotherapists. I have tried diets. I have worked with award-winning doctors and nutritionists. I measured and weighed my food. I was also told that in certain period of time, I will lose certain amount of weight, and I did. The funny thing is that I did. I had made a headway with every single thing that I've tried. The problem, because we all do, we all have tried diets, we all have tried treatments and methods, and we all have made a headway, but at some point, the weight comes back. And inevitably, the weight had always come back. And this was something that had always fascinated me. How come I can lose the weight and then the weight comes back on? I lose it and it comes back on. I lose it and it comes back on. And then I realized, these people, with all due respect, they are masters in their field. It's just that most of them had one size fits all. And they just basically saw me as just another client with a weight problem. Most of those people did not have a weight problem. Most of those people did not understand the position from, my starting position. And you see, when we haven't been to where our clients are or what they are going through on a similar journey, we can kind of rationally understand where they are, but we cannot fully create the safe container and space for them, because most of those people specialize in just one thing, or at the most 2 or 3. And it is very limiting. And they go with, with a cheap motivation thing, we've all heard it. Start with a goal in mind, see yourself in where you want to be in 3, 6, whatever the fuck months. And that is all very beautiful. Now, if I'm currently struggling with weight loss, and if I see myself, I don't know, in my particular case, I was 104 kilos almost, which is quite a lot. That's like over 200 pounds. And if somebody tells me, see yourself in the future, how you'd like to be, that image, that compelling image of myself is very much unattainable. And I'm not likely to trust it. I'm not likely to believe it, with all due respect. And, we both are NLP trainers. So we know, the swish and, creating a compelling picture and go there, imagine, see, feel, whatever. That is all very, very beautiful. But it activates just one part of the whole.
One of the things I love about you is your zest and passion for life.
I'm very passionate about it.
When you get into this topic as well. So I remember you many years ago. You have a big heart, and your focus was on a lot outside, learning from everybody, and also helping, but very much outside. So what was the turning point for you, Lidija?
Well, there were lots of turning points. It's just that I got fed up in all honesty, listening to all the bullshit and garbage and just, spending my money like there is no tomorrow on self-proclaimed people and coaching, selling me, this kind of thing. You too can be this and that. And, we are very intelligent. And it is wrong and almost sinful and bad karma to sell something to somebody that you yourself haven't gone through. And I have fallen for that. And this has been, my weight loss and other personal development journey. But I guess this was something I had to learn. This was my path. And I had to meet
and that's
those
okay
teachers.
because these many people fall into this trap. So it's not only you.
No, it's so many people. And I see that in my clients, I just see it. When I say, listen, I'm telling you, it is possible. It is absolutely possible. Because I know how, and I know I make it very easy. I'm very much aware that I make this, personal development, growth, business, wealth very easy, because it is once you master it. I make it look easy because it is really easy. It is when you master something, when you have gone through it, when you have embodied it, and that is the difference. I happen to possess the embodied knowledge of what I was looking for on the outside, and what I see now, other people selling. And this is not how we can help people, because in order to lose weight, it's not enough to just lose kilos. Losing kilos is the superficial part. That is just
is the byproduct.
That's a byproduct of a deeper inner work. And paradoxically, I have people who come to me with with the weight loss program, with the weight loss problem, but then miraculously they end up sorting out all the other crap that was that they didn't even know was going on in their lives. And that is the beauty, because creating, I think it is absolute responsibility to all of us, coaches, trainers, agents of change. Not my favorite word, but come on, let's just go with it. Some people know, some people recognize it. And we need to create that very safe container, almost like a place where the person will feel nurtured, where they will want to get into a working partnership with you, because I create the space, but the change process belongs to my client.
So, Lidija, I remember, and I had the privilege to witness your transformation in all these years, because I think it started about 2012 for you.
2012, but it was 2015.
Or maybe later. And it's spectacular how you progress in your life. Is beautiful to witness, and I'm very grateful that we are on the same path together. So let me ask you something. You're very much externally oriented, trying to learn from everybody, and also giving space to people, and going to all these people, all these experts. And saying that losing probably connection with your inner wisdom.
Yes.
So how was the forgive? When did you start to forgive yourself for all these things?
It wasn't it wasn't so much forgiving, Kata. It was more of it was more as Carl Rogers, one of my favorite psychologists, says, that the paradoxical thing about change is that the moment you accept yourself as you are, the real change starts to happen. And so this is basically what happened with me. I got fed up, and the more I was going on the outside, the more disconnected I was. So a time sometimes in our life comes where you just say, okay, whoa, enough. Okay, what is it that I know that I'm not using? Because I started noticing a change in my clients. And I started asking myself, how come they get those results and I am not? You know, what is it I do with
Fascinating.
them?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Like, you know, how do I show up for them? And I record all my sessions with clients with their consent.
Yes.
And so, because I go through them, and I started like listening, you know, what was going on. And I used again a lot of unconsciously, again, beautifully woven meditations and sentences and my language also, the way I spoke changed, the tone of my voice changed, the whole energy was different. I mean, I get goosebumps as I speak now. And then I started exploring that. So I started literally looking at what modalities do I own and what modalities do I have that I am not applying to myself. In other words, I have applied them to my other things, like, you know, to growing business. I have applied them to, you know, creating wealth. I have applied them to, you know, shitloads of other things, but not really to this weight loss. I started like thinking, okay, you
Interesting.
know,
Interesting how mind works, right?
it's very interesting. I'm always fascinated, like forever fascinated with, you know,
Yeah.
with the inner workings of the mind. And then
By the
I
way,
also realized,
we have Marike. Hello, Marike. Welcome. And Anaya, who says hello. And
yeah,
he says something scientifically proven ways to lose extra weight, try intermittent fasting, tracking your diet and exercise, eating mindfully, eating protein for breakfast, cutting back on sugar and carbs, balancing gut bacteria. All good stuff.
all good
But
stuff.
we are just ahead of this because
Yeah,
there is some things that Lydia did before getting into this all these
yeah,
great strategies.
yeah. The
So
thing
that
for
made
me,
me want to say this.
yeah. What I wanted to say is that all those things that the lady mentioned absolutely 100% will work.
It's a gentleman from India.
Oh, okay, it's perfect, and all those things absolutely work. The thing is that I was interested in something really deeper, and I was interested in something long-term
Yes.
sustainable. Also, I was interested in being free from dieting. I also wanted to teach my body, or rather to really connect with myself and with my body, mind, soul, to actually do what it is programmed to do by nature. You know, to you take the food in and you digest it properly. You don't become like, you know, a nightmare to a waiter in a restaurant. With all due respect, there are serious allergies. There are people with like serious, you know, allergies, and I totally respect that and have all the love and appreciation for that. However, a lot of the things that we convince ourselves that we are intolerant to are things that when we are not aligned, when I'm not aligned, I'm intolerant. When I eat that pizza and I have a massive fucking guilt about, you know, the pizza, calculating what the pizza will do for me, how many calories in the pizza, how much do I need to exercise in order to burn off the calories from the pizza, or a glass of wine or whatever. We are then getting into a really, really, really dangerous. We are walking on a very dangerous ground. So
Were you
we
there?
then,
Were you there? Were you
I
there
was
thinking
there. Of
excessively
course,
about food?
of course, I
Because
was there.
many people, have, yeah. Okay.
Of course, I was there. You know, we
Me
were all
too. Me
there.
too. Me
We,
too.
I
Thinking,
honestly,
how much do I need to sport in order
yes,
to?
bravo,
Yes.
yes. Like, how much do I need to run? And then I would like go to the gym and I'd run on the treadmill. And then on the treadmill, I'd see, like, I don't know, you know, the treadmills, the running machine tells you how many calories you've burned. And I'm like, fighting for my dear life on the treadmill. And it like shows, I don't know, something like 200 fucking calories. And I'm like, it's impossible. A pizza has got, I don't know, I don't track those things anymore, but it's definitely more than 200 calories. So basically, to cut the long story short, I wanted to feel free. I wanted to really kind of, get together and sort of see, okay, what is it that I know that I'm not using? What are the things that I absolutely ace, that I'm master at, and I'm not applying to myself? So if I show up for my client, how can I show up for myself? So I show up, as you know, for everything in my life with a lot of passion, with a lot of Tinkerbell enthusiasm, but it is also supported with a lot of ancient wisdom. So I connected a lot. I started also interviewing my clients independently of our coaching sessions. And I just wanted to know what is it they were experiencing and getting, and what was like going on, as we were working together. And I just wanted to get into the specifics. And then I just, how we go to all these trainings, and then we finish with the training, and then we forget about it. So I started like practicing various things that I have actually learned. As pranic healing, also some other woo-woo techniques that I learned. Also, bear in mind that I come from the lineage, also from my paternal side, the grandmother, my paternal great-great-grandmother was a healer, and there was a lineage of that. So I do believe that I carry that blood, I carry that ancestral wisdom and knowledge. And so I started hearing, that people would kind of, even by sitting in the presence and just, chatting over the phone like this, they would feel, we finish chatting, and they find within themselves that thing that moves them to just go and do and whatever. So the change was really spontaneous. It comes from within, and it comes from them. And then a lot of things then happen, because when you connect with yourself and you have somebody also to create a safe space for you, and I do believe that we all need people in our lives who are where we are aiming to get, who can help us get there. Mentors, coaches, trainers, however, healers, however you want. I certainly have one or a few. So the point is that you want to be able to transform safely, and also address not just the mental part of the weight loss, because a lot of people create and cultivate rigidity. They use a discipline. Discipline is beautiful and can liberate you, but it can also create a huge amount of rigidity on the weight loss journey. So you go from like being very healthy by obsessing about health. And when you are like when you're obsessing about health, that in itself is very unhealthy, And then there is this clean eating. So you start eliminating things. You start looking at food as the enemy. And when we start demonizing something that we need as nourishment, then we are really on a very dangerous ground.
So how can you flip this from being obsessed on a performance in the area of nourishment to rather getting an opening to the nourishment in life?
Yes.
How did you flip this?
Well, I did. I first started with writing a beautiful love letter to myself, which is always a starting point for me. Hands hustling gently. I tried hard. Hard doesn't work with me, especially for women. We then, detach ourselves from that. We go like, with full force, and we try strategies that may work for men, but may not necessarily work from us. They just harden us and make us bitter and angry. And I was bitter and angry back in my corporate days. So
but it was always with a big smile. That's very interesting.
Because it was something that we learned.
Yes.
You know, we learned it because we learn to perform. So you learn to perform. Somebody says something, you perform. Somebody, you know, wants something, you perform. So
Yes.
over the years, I just basically became this person without boundaries. So I had like zero boundaries, mega available for everyone, mega available for everything. I also, you know, followed the teachers who would say yes to everything, just don't question, just say yes, opportunities don't come. So I basically translated that onto every single fucking arena of my life.
So you are consuming a lot.
Yes.
Not only through the mouth, but
Yeah.
also through the eyes and ears. Okay.
Everything, like all the senses. But sometimes what we consume, and if I'm not aware of what and discerning about what I am consuming, what very likely happens is that that thing that I'm consuming becomes toxic for me.
Yes.
And it creates, and my body became too big. My body became massive because it
And
had to,
inflamed, right?
yeah, it had to accommodate things. I had like thyroid problems. I was on the verge of like diabetes, high blood pressure, like, oh, you name it. You know, I just basically had it. And basically, you know, I realized that something has got to be done. So I started saying no. I started creating, like, you know, very strong boundaries. I stopped allowing people to, you know, to pick my brains over a cup of coffee.
And this is
Because
great, but how, you know, mentally people would understand. But how did you do it? Starting to say no and having these boundaries. What
it took a
shifted
while.
in you?
It took a while, and I would like to go into, like, you know, a detail into how I do it, like step by step. But then that wouldn't be fair to do it on live to my paying clients because they pay for that. So if I just unpack everything now, it wouldn't be fair
No,
to
no,
them.
not going into just
So
high level.
what basically I did in order to get that level of courage and self-confidence and self-awareness that you are actually damaging yourself by saying yes to everything, that requires a lot of honesty, a lot of deep inner work. And I do share quite a lot of free content through my writings. You can find it on Instagram, in the blog posts that I write. And if you just, you know, if you look and if you know where to look, you'll find what you're looking for. So creating the boundaries, like very, very healthy boundaries, not being arrogant, not being a bitch, but just, you know, checking and discerning, hey, you know, this works for me, or rather it used to work, it doesn't work anymore. So we all deserve the right to change our minds. And
how do you keep
how do we
go
what?
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we all deserve by birth, by nature of things, to be kind to ourselves, to be really gentle to ourselves, to honor, you know, the free time that we have for ourselves. If I have a free time, it doesn't mean that I need to just go out there and give that free time to somebody. There is also, and this, you know, as coaches, we are kind of, you know, we want to be there for everyone. And we want to, like, you know, the moment, you know, the space liberates, you want to kind of, you know, be there for that person who is waiting, who is on the waiting list or whatever. But you also want to not keep yourself waiting. And for many years, I have kept myself waiting. And
how do you keep yourself humble? You have many successes in life. How do you keep yourself humble?
To be honest, you know, the other day we were talking over a dinner with my godmother. And we were joking. I don't think I'm particularly humble, but I'm very grateful. So I live in gratitude. I have maybe humble beginnings, but humble I don't know. Maybe I
How
am, maybe
as
I'm not.
opposed, I would put it as opposed to being arrogant.
Okay. You just basically acknowledge, and with a lot of kindness, you say no. You look at the person in the eyes. You don't lie. You don't say, hey, something else came up. You just say, hey, I'm not feeling it right now. I feel like I need time for myself. I need to be here for me. I need me. And the moment you start doing that, there will be people out there who will totally understand that. There will be people who will not, Kata. And you know this process. I mean, my book is called Gaining While Losing, and I gained myself, but I lost a lot of people and a lot of stuff in the process. I really did.
And you
But
transform patterns, right?
yeah, you transform patterns, because also one other very important thing is that I was forever changing. Like, you know, I was changing. I didn't like something, I changed it. I didn't, you know. And I realized that change is very beautiful, but it is also very superficial. And I realized that change is actually not something that I was going to be available for. I started getting curious about transformation, because when you transform, something happens on a much, much, much deeper level. And so when that happens, then those kilos really don't come back. Then you know, those you can have a cup of coffee and still go to bed and sleep. In other words, it doesn't affect you. So getting really aligned with yourself, being really congruent in your daily actions. Also, you know, I have noticed one thing, and this was like in the early days. This may be useful, you know, for people who are on the path of like weight loss, or like, you know, the path of living more aligned and congruent life. I've noticed that every time I was incongruent, I would feel bloated. I would eat something. I could have whatever, a strawberry, a cup of tea. It would bloat me. I couldn't
Yes.
digest it. And then I started, you know, I started connecting the two and two. I dug deep with my,
Yeah.
you know, unconscious mind, and, you know, my mind, body, soul, and, like, you know, other woo-woo stuff. And actually, every time, literally every time I do something that is not congruent with me, that goes against my alignment, like, you know, who I am and what I'm here for, something happens. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bloat, I feel sleepy, I feel
Yeah.
lethargic. I
Yeah.
I just, you know, I want to go for a walk, but then I don't feel like it. And this is, you know, this is a very easily traceable thing in our lives. We
If
all
you
know.
slow down and pay attention,
Yeah.
because
And all.
let's
Mhm.
face it, how many people, if they feel bloated or they feel constipated, say, oh, I have to go to the doctor, and they get
Yeah.
things, pills,
Yeah.
whatever, to get. But by not feeling yourself and not digesting your emotions,
Yeah.
how many times you become
Yeah.
obstipated, right? And in your case, bloated. And for us, for myself as well, and for many people, but we need to slow down and pay
Yes.
attention and develop that discernment, because I am a passionate about discernment. I think you are as well.
Very much so.
Finding, and this is also part of boundaries, because then you know what's mine and what's yours.
Yes, it's
So
very true. And also, you know, a lot of people, and I guess we actually come, you know, this female energy kind of, you know, comes with this. We need to be accommodated, like, you know, the mother archetype. You
yes,
know, we kind of become like, you know, the Mother Mary archetype, the Jesus Christ archetype. You know, I need to say yes to everyone, and I need to save everyone. And that can very easily transform us into victims if it comes from the wrong place, because we can only give once we have given
yeah.
to
We need to
ourselves
bring
first.
some Magdalena in us, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So we
Yeah.
need we need those also, those deep wild energies as well.
Sure. We absolutely do. And so, just saying no to people and saying yes to you,
Yeah.
using, getting rid of the guilt that we are learned and taught to um, to um, to wear, rather, of, oh, I have got like some free time, I am like reading a paper or maybe watching a movie or not doing anything, I must do something, I must be productive, I'm wasting my time or whatever. That may be right for some people and for some people may work, but from what I have seen in the past, I don't know, 15 years in the field, that can very much be counterproductive. And by all means, there are situations where we really need to roll up our sleeves, go out there and give it our all, okay? But those moments are far and few between. We can create daily opportunities for ourselves, even if it's just 5 minutes, to drink our tea or coffee in silence, being, go out there in the garden or whatever, or in the vase if you don't have a garden, and smell the flowers. Just connect, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
I appreciate, it's not always easy, but honestly, the more we give to ourselves, the more gentle we are, the easier and lighter things are. And we are about the light and
Yes.
traveling lightly, because we have given over the years a lot of luggage to carry, and
Yes.
maybe not even to carry. Maybe, the luggage on the journey I was given was maybe given to me to hold. But nobody told me that at any given point, I can let go, I can drop it. It's not mine.
Yes.
And I can do that.
So thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. I would like to end, you are 40 plus. If we look only on the material thing, that, you're 40 plus kilos lighter,
44.
44. So if you look at your journey, what are the three main things that you learn that you can share with others? So we left our audience with those three things. Until you think about it, I'm going to salute Marike and Anaya and Rich Waterman and Aparecida Candida from Brazil. So we have people from all over the places.
Nice.
Thank you so much for being with us. So let's let people with three things that you've learned
It
that
really
might
is.
help them in their own journey, maybe.
Yeah. I can only share, what has worked for me and what I hear regularly from other people I work for. And that is that I am responsible for myself, and which is kind of, a recurring thing.
Yeah.
The transformation begins with me. And one of the things that has over the years become my mantra is change daily, transform often.
Yeah.
And, ultimately, we hear it a lot and we read about it a lot and we learn about it, that all we have is within us. And that is very much true. That is like a million times true. But we need to get to that understanding. And then when we get to that understanding, we need to, or to that knowledge, we then need to embody it.
Yeah.
And living the transformation from an embodied place is the beauty.
Well, transformation can take place actually only
Yeah.
if you take the body
Yeah.
into account. So, Linda, Vita, something goes wrong with the sound. I'm sorry. Maybe we aim too much because we are on Facebook and YouTube, and then via Lydia, with Lydia via Instagram. So maybe too many noises. Sorry for the noise. I hope you got lots of values. I did. Thank you so much, Lydia.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to connect also this way.
Yes.
And I'll see you next time, and wishing you the
Yes.
best in
Have a
helping many
beautiful
other
day,
people.
Sasha. And it's full moon tomorrow, so feel
do the
free to
stuff.
release whatever it is
Yes.
that is weighing you guys. Okay.
Yes.
Sending you
Thank you
lots
so
of
much.
love and hustle
All the
gently.
best. Bye.
Thanks, Instagram people.